Speedway sidecar racing has long been regarded as one of the toughest forms of oval track racing in the world. These finely tuned and sometimes lethal machines hurtle around dirt ovals at speeds reaching 160 kilometers per hour. This sport is no place for the faint-hearted. They are the gladiators of motorsport. Now, for the first time in the long history of the sport, Australia's best riders have been contracted to appear in a grueling national series. The field is being spearheaded by Queensland's former national champions Vic Martin and Gary Moon, Victoria's Andrew Cleve and Darren Treloar from New South Wales. Welcome to our exclusive coverage of the Clean Team Speedway Sidecar Super Prix. Oh, great to have your company. Welcome to Checkered Flag on C7 Sport. Terrific of you to join us wherever you might be watching today's program. And an interesting program coming your way in the next 60 minutes as we welcome you to Western Auto Raceway at Bacchus Marsh in Victoria for the opening round of a very ambitious and new series on the Australian motorsport scene. It's the Clean Team Radiator Coolant Sidecar Super Prix. It's an innovative new format. You're going to see some terrific racing in a 6-round series, which obviously gets underway at this circuit today. Let's now check out the Raider format for you and then meet some of the stars. 15 riders and their passengers doing battle in this opening round of the championship. Each will contest 4 qualifying heats plus their respective final. During those heats, they'll score based on 5 for victory, 4 for second, 3, 2 and 1, etc. The top 4 riders automatically seeded to the A final, and the winner of the B final also taking the last transfer spot. Well, Alan Griffith, one of the most notable sidecar passengers in the country, a couple of times national champion. Very exciting night for the sport with the start of the series.
Yeah, it should be good, David. Yeah, it's a nice big open track, should be fast. Everyone never been here before, so it's going to be interesting actually. See how everyone goes, should be good.
From your point of view, is it scary riding on a track this big, 530 metres?
Not particularly. You get plenty of time to rest on a big track like this, you know. You're not up and down like on a tight little track. Plus, Treloar's pretty comfortable on the throttle. Makes it a bit easier for me.
I guess in reality, the speeds are going to be very high, but it's a fairly safe track being so far away from the wall.
Yeah, which is good, yeah. No one likes getting that close to the wall. It's a long way away here, you know, so that should be good.
How long have you been doing this caper now?
We had our first season in '85, you know, so we're getting on there around the 14, 15 years, you know.
What's Darren like during the meeting in the pits when things aren't going according to plan? Is he easy going or the opposite?
He's pretty much the same as he is all the time, you know. Don't let on too much, just have a talk about it, sit it down, try to get it right for the next race.
Well, Darren Treloar, how are the butterflies? Are there some there?
Oh, there's no butterflies anymore, David. That happened to me first couple of years I rode. I've been doing it for a fair bit now, and I've done a lot of laps, and a lot of confidence in my passenger, so I just try and concentrate on winning races. Don't worry about getting butterflies.
So you don't get nervous at all?
I'd be a liar if I said I didn't get nervous at all. Everyone gets nervous, but I try not to show it.
You've put plenty of preparation into your team for this series, which is certainly going to be a test of the toughest. And it's fair to say the good thing about a series is that the best prepared team invariably is the one that ends up winning.
Yeah, that's right, David. I've always wanted to see something like this because I'd rather go to 6 different tracks and have 6 different meetings and see who the winner is at the end of the series than just have like the Australian titles and the state titles on one night over 20 heats, you know, because all you do is get a puncher or throw a chain and your night's gone. But if the 6 rounds, you can afford to drop a couple of points if you're good enough and win the rest of them. There's no reason why you can't win it.
You're considered obviously as being one of the main stars in this field, dual national champion. I mean, you've won everything, 6 New South Wales championships as well. Is there a rider or team that you are prepared to nominate as your biggest danger, or do you respect them all?
Oh, I respect them all, David. That's in the past, me state titles and me national titles. I rode in the Nationals last year and I did nothing, so I'm not regarded as one of the hardest rivals anymore, I don't think, because I've had a quiet couple of seasons, but it's all going to turn around now.
Well, another one of the former national champions, Vic Martin, lining up in this series. You've probably been the form rider in the sport over the last 12 months, and I guess you're confident in this series.
Yeah, we're fairly confident coming into the series with a new passenger in Rob. He's up to the job, I think. We've done a fair bit of training with him, so I think we'll run pretty well. You're
a relative newcomer to the sport in real terms, aren't you, compared to a lot of the other guys here tonight?
Yeah, some of the guys have been around for over a decade, and we've been 4 or 5 going in our 5th year now. So we're pretty happy with our results so far.
You've just had a practice on Western Auto Raceway. First time a sidecar's ever turned a wheel at this brand new venue. Your impressions?
Oh, it's pretty big and nice and fast, so we're going to be in for a really good night of racing.
Well, Gary, you last tasted major national success in 89-90. You've travelled all the way down from Townsville. That's what I call commitment.
Yeah, and we're looking good in this series, I think. I'm pretty keen for a win. We haven't had a win for a while, so we're there, but just not quite at the moment.
There's no doubt that you've proven many, many times you can run and beat the best. What have you done specially in preparation for this event?
Oh, just mainly a bit of mental preparation. We've been up in Townsville not doing too much on the racing scene, so that's all we can really do is try and get our minds ready and hopefully go and do the job.
Who do you rate as the teams that are going to be your toughest opponents?
Mate, anyone that's out there is a tough opponent. You can't pick anyone. Everyone can go. That's the thing. That's what's going to make this Clean Team series such an exciting series.
Well, Kyle, you've been one of the biggest supporters of sidecar racing for many years. In fact, you've done a lot of things in Speedway, including these days administration. What does this mean to the sport tonight?
I think this is what we've really been chasing for quite a number of years. Getting the best riders in Australia together more often is the way the sport has to go. In the past, the only time we all got together was national titles, and of course when you've got the best riders together, they put on a better show. So it should be very good for the sport as far as the crowds and entertainment, that type of thing.
Pretty hard to pick a standout team, isn't it, in terms of a prediction for outright victory? There's a fair bit of depth in the field.
Well, our bikes vary so much. Some bikes are very good for small tracks. With the power they're making, they come on high for large tracks and down low for small tracks. And of course, you've got guys who like little tracks and big tracks. So yeah, it is very hard to pick a team. You just don't know who's going to go good tonight because it's a new track. No one's ridden on it before, and anybody could come out in front, really.
It's a pretty fast place, isn't it?
It's very fast. I've just been chasing sprockets trying to work out what sort of gearing to run. I think we'd have to be doing over 160 kilometres an hour out there at the moment, and I think we've got to go faster because we're running out on the rev limiter. The motor's full revs and we need to go faster, so we're chasing sprockets trying to work out gearing.
160 k's an hour. Better you than me.
Well, I think that's about what we'll be doing, going off what the gearing we're running. We're running very high gearing, and it would be close to that, I would say.
Good crowd in at the brand new Western Auto Raceway at Bacchus Marsh in Victoria. Welcome to our coverage of the opening round of the Clean Team Radiator Coolant Sidecar Super Prix. As you can see, this venue not quite finished yet. This is its first meeting of its first season in full. It was just the one meeting here, the Victorian Sprint Car title a few months ago, and some of the facilities are yet to be completed, but it has all the potential in the world, and that will certainly be realised when promoter Jeff Truan puts the finishing touches to it. Here's heat number one, History in Australian Speedway. The opening heat of the Clean Team Sidecar Super Prix. Gary Moon in the red helmet colour on the inside, Vic Martin in blue, Andrew Cleve in white, Chris Pym in yellow, and Dion Lind, the Tasmanian, in green starting on the outside. Best to begin though. Over on the inside was Gary Moon and Chris Hughes all the way from Townsville. Here's the local Victorian hotshot, Andrew Cleve, with Dave Power on the side of the machine. He runs second on the circuit. Cleve is sizing Gary Moon up for an inside pass. And meantime, here comes Vic Martin, the Queenslander, storming up on the inside. I don't think Andrew Cleve was quite expecting that. And the former national title holder has taken the lead from the former national title holder. Vic Martin has broken down. Well, that is a tragedy for the Gold Coast rider and his passenger, Rob Thistleton. It looks as though they'll take no further part in this one. The local crowd here at Bacchus Marsh are fairly happy about it, though, because Andrew Cleve and Dave Power, the hotshot Victorians, have now taken the race lead and they're inside the last racing lap. This Western Auto Raceway, 530 metres on the pole line. Gee, there were some problems. Did you see that? The man running in second place, Chris Pym, was all over the shop. But there is your race leader, Andrew Cleve, and Dave Power on the side of the machine. And Andrew Cleve is going to create history, becoming the first rider to win a heat of the Clean Team Sidecar Super Prix. He got across the lane in advance of Chris Pym and Dean Edwards from New South Wales. And third to the checker was Dion Lind and Scott Males from Tasmania in a time of 1 minute, 8.03 seconds. And that is the way to start a new championship chase for Andrew Cleve and also for Dave Power. Now the Super Slow-Mo, just have a look at the attitude of these bikes and particularly note the body weight of the passengers. This is Moon on the right-hand side of your picture in the red helmet colour, Cleve in the centre wearing the white helmet colour, and Vic Martin racing up on the inside. Note his passenger Thistleton removing a tear off there, trying to clear his visibility. Martin sweeps to the lead. Cleve intelligently in second spot, elects to cut back to the inside, but Martin had a superior run out of there. Moon getting into all sorts of trouble. That enabled Chris Pym to move up, wearing the yellow helmet colour, into third. Now it's heat number two. The heats tonight, 3 laps. And I've already explained at the top of the show, but if you may have just joined us, the points in these qualifying heats work this way. The rider and passenger scoring victory in the heat amassed 5 points, second 4 points, third 3 points, fourth 2, and last across the line getting the 1 point. Each rider in 4 qualifying heats. There are 12 of those in total to be shared among the 15 riders, and at the completion of the 12 qualifying heats, they are seeded into their respective finals. Another great field here. Darren Treloar, former dual national champion, in red on the inside. Grant Bond and Thomas Cruise from New South Wales in blue out of gate 2. Ronnie Parker and Gavin Cunningham in white out of gate 3. Justin Plaisted and Sam Harrison wearing the yellow helmet colour. They started out of gate 4. And Newcastle's Darren Keith and James Dean wearing green. They're currently tailed off right at the back. They started out of gate 5. As they get them underway, it is Darren Treloar, whom we heard from at the start of tonight's program. He really is going to be a tough nut to crack in this tournament. And look at the gap he's already opened up. It is a sizable one between first and second. Talking of second, that man is Ronnie Parker from South Australia, Gavin Cunningham on the side of the machine. And that was a graphic shot of them racing down the back straight the first time. Bearing in mind, of course, there hasn't been any sidecar racing held at this venue before. There's been very little racing held at this venue before. So tonight, very much a learning curve for all of these riders in the opening round of the Sidecar Super Prix. And this is the first of 6 rounds. Darren Treloar and Alan Griffith on the side of the machine. This combination 6 times winner of the prestigious New South Wales Championship. They're the current state title holders from New South Wales. They're going to get home in the second heat very comfortably. Treloar had plenty up his sleeve, you've got to say there. Second was Ronnie Parker and Cunningham from South Aussie, followed further back in third by Grant Bond and Thomas Cruise. Racing time 65.29 seconds. 65.29 seconds. Thomas Cruise, interesting name, isn't it? Pairing with Grant Bond for this tournament in its entirety. There's some of the crowd. It's very chilly here tonight at Bacchus Marsh in Victoria. Now we prepare for battle in heat number 3. Going through the field for you, Mildura's Jaden Mays and Jabin Underhill, his passenger, will ride in red from position number 1. The Perth sensation, Glenn O'Brien, and Jeff Giddis, his passenger, will ride in blue from gate 2. Cole Windsor and Gordon Young start in gate 3 wearing the white helmet colour. Victoria's Jason Truan and William Beanham in yellow from gate 4. And Rick Wason and Glenn Welsh starting in the green helmet colour from position number 5. Glenn O'Brien on the extreme outside, that bright yellow machine, the Project Demolition entry, swept around them early in proceedings, and O'Brien is going to take a very comfortable lead as he races back onto the main section at the end of the first racing lap. Now the young rider in second place on the predominantly red sidecar is Mildura's Jaden Mays. He's just 18 years of age, won the South Australian Championship when he was 17. His passenger Jabin, with a B, Jabin Underhill, and they are certainly one of the rising stars of National Speedway. You'll see plenty of them on this program, I'm sure, featuring prominently in the results. Here's Glenn O'Brien, meantime, yellow flag on display, and the West Australian riders are absolutely carving through the dirt here at Bacchus Marsh. They've got a huge break of about 30 metres to their nearest rival, and there's no doubt Glenn O'Brien and his passenger Jeff Giddis are going to get across the line and take 5 maximum points here. Nice and smooth, aren't they? Out of turn 4 for the final time. And O'Brien got there with Giddis in the chair doing a terrific job. Second of the checkered flag, the youngsters Jaden Mays and Jabin Underhill. Third across the line, Rick Wason and Glenn Welsh from South Australia. And the race time was 64.81 seconds. And there is Cole Windsor, parked on the infield with his passenger Gordon Young, unable to complete the 3-lap journey. A pair of Victorians succumbing to mechanical failure. And that is certainly not the way that Cole Windsor would have been planning on starting his tour. There's the winner of heat number 3, though, Glenn O'Brien and Jeff Giddis on the back. They've only been together a short time, but are going to prove a dynamic combination in the Sidecar Super Prix. And that was about as emphatic a victory as you'd see at this early stage of the night. They trounced their rivals by about 30 metres.
In what looked like
Great to have your company. Welcome back to Western Auto Raceway at Bacchus Marsh in Victoria. The opening meeting of the new season for this brand new multi-million-dollar facility And we now pick up the action in Heat 4 of the opening round of the Clean Team Radiator Coolant Speedway Sidecar Super Prix. Andrew Cleve and Dave Power return for battle here. They ride in red from position number 1. Ronnie Parker and Gavin Cunningham from South Australia ride in blue from gate 2. Glenn O'Brien and Jeff Giddis from Perth ride in white from gate number 3. Dion Lind and Scott Males wearing the yellow helmet colour from Tasmania will start out of posse number 4. And New South Wales riders Darren Caife and James Dean wearing the green helmet colour on the right-hand side of your screen start out of posse number 5. This is the commencement of the second round of qualifying heats. A problem there for Ronnie Parker and Gavin Cunningham. If you haven't seen Speedway Sidecar racing before, when I refer to the colours, I'm talking of their helmet colours predominantly in terms of identifying starting positions, not the bikes or their leather colours. There's the green helmet colour on the right-hand side of your picture. That is Darren Caife and his passenger James Dean. Tapes now fly in heat number 4, another 3-lap journey, and Andrew Cleve looking for his second consecutive victory tonight leads. Here's the Perth rider up on the inside, Glenn O'Brien, and now the Tasmanian Dion Lind. Where did he come from? He bounced out of 3rd or 4th on the racetrack and is going to take the lead as they head up the main straight at the completion of the first racing lap. He's relegated O'Brien and Cleve, who are involved in a titanic battle. What a move by Dion Lind, the Tasmanian, with Scott Males on the side of the bike, and they've now opened up a break of 7 or 8 metres. A terrific scrap for 2nd and 3rd on the circuit, though. It's Cleve and Power, the Victorians, on the inside. O'Brien and Giddis, the West Australians, on the outside, wearing the white helmet colour. Across the line they run. Yellow flag on display. 1 lap of Western Auto Raceway to run. And you're looking at the scrap for 2nd and 3rd. Andrew Cleve is under siege from Glenn O'Brien. But on the right-hand side of your screen, you can see Dion Lind and his passenger Scott Males. A superb ride from them. They got away very slowly and then pounced. Look at the scrap for 2nd as they see the checkered flag unfold. Who will it be across the line? You'll find that Andrew Cleve just got there with Dave Power on the side in 2nd, followed in 3rd by Glenn O'Brien and Jeff Giddis. But there's your victors, though, Dion Lind and his passenger Scott Males from Tasmania. Another look at the restart action, and that is Andrew Cleve wearing the red helmet colour. Now watch O'Brien, the Perth-based rider. He sights a gap on the inside and gets motoring along. And on the extreme right-hand side of the racetrack, the Tasmanian Dion Lind, winding it up, came from the clouds, rocketed by on the inside. The 3 of them were racing that closely together there. You could almost throw a tally-ho paper over them, and none of them touched. That's how good these guys are. And in the shape of Lind, O'Brien and Cleve, they are certainly 3 of the nation's best riders. Heat number 5. Bill King and his passenger Ewan will ride in red from gate number 1, and they are replacing Cole Windsor and Gordon Young, who have mechanical problems. Grant Bond and Thomas Cruz ride in blue from 2. Vic Martin and Rob Thistleton ride in white from 3. Chris Pym and Dean Edwards in yellow from gate 4, and Rick Wason and Glenn Welch riding in green from gate number 5. By the way, the race time for the previous event, 64.42 seconds. Now we prepare for battle in heat number 5. The last was a beauty. A problem there for Rick Wason and Glenn Walsh. They didn't get away from the starting tapes when they flew. No such problems, though, for the former national champion Vic Martin and Rob Thistleton, all the way from the Gold Coast in Queensland. They're your race leaders on the right-hand side of screen. A good break already of some 10 or 15 metres. Second and best of the rest on the circuit at the moment is Grant Bond with his passenger Tom Cruise. That's right, you heard right, Tom Cruise. Spelt with a K in this case, though. And there's no doubt our man in front that you're currently looking at, Vic Martin, with his passenger Thistleton on the side, are in no danger of defeat whatsoever here. Out of turn 4, they bounced away brilliantly when the starter said go, and have certainly not been headed so far. 1 lap of the 530-metre Western Auto Raceway to run. Grant Bond has got a problem with his bike in this race. He's normally infinitely quicker, albeit he is in 2nd spot, not showing his normal pace. That certainly doesn't apply to this man. Look at Vic Martin negotiating this circuit perfectly. His passenger Thistleton is delighted with that. He shakes his fist in delight. Across the line, it was a pretty close finish between Bond and Pym, but you'll find that Grant Bond lasted to get 2nd. 3rd was Chris Pym with Dean Edwards on the side of the machine, and the race time a little quicker, 63.10 seconds. And there's Martin and Thistleton. Terrific job by them. And that's 5 points to their tally, and we're about halfway through the second round of qualifying heats in this opening round of the Clean Team Sidecar Super Prix. Martin's bike, owned by Bob Cowley, the proprietor of Gold Coast Motorcycle Wreckers, one of the biggest Speedway Sidecar supporters in this country. Now it's time for Heat 6. Justin Placestead and Sam Harrison riding in red from the gate, the South Australians. Darren Treloar and Alan Griffiths in blue from New South Wales, starting in gate 2. Jaden Mays and Jabin Underhill in white out of gate 3. Gary Moon and Chris Hughes in yellow from gate 4. And the Victorian pair of Jason Truan and Beenham starting in position 5 on the outside in green. Once again, it's Darren Treloar who's setting a cracking pace out in front. I noticed a problem there with our man on position number 1, Justin Placestead, one of the top young riders in the country. He didn't get away from the starting tapes, so another frustrating exit from a race prematurely for him. Meantime, Darren Treloar is full of running out in front. He built his own sidecars from the ground up, the TRE chassis, which is a chassis of his own design. A motorcycle mechanic by trade, operates his own business at Blacktown in Sydney's west. And as you can see, he knows exactly what he's doing, doesn't he? So too does his passenger, Alan Griffiths, one of the Griffiths that have had such a long career in terms of sidecar racing in this country. And Treloar is at least 20 metres in advance of his nearest rival, which is the youngster from Mildura, the 18-year-old, Jaden Mays, and his passenger, Jabin Underhill. Darren Treloar, though, is going to get across the line and pick up another 5 points, taking his tally to 10. That's a pretty good result. 2 starts, 2 wins thus far. Second across the line, Mays and Underhill. And third to the checkered flag, Jason Truan and William Beenham, all in a time of 63.55 seconds. 63.55 seconds for the 3-lap journey in heat number 6. As you look at Treloar and Griffith heading back to the pits, that's a big victory. Heat number 7 will come your way next on the program, and again, magnificent field of riders to do battle. Moon and Hughes from Townsville in red on position 1. Rick Wason and Glenn Walsh wearing blue out of gate 2. O'Brien and Giddis from Perth in the white helmet colour from gate 3. Darren Caife and James Dean wearing red, it should be yellow, in gate 5, rather in gate 4, and Grant Bond and Thomas Cruz extreme outside wearing the green helmet colour. Now, a problem for Gary Moon and Chris Hughes, the former national champions from Townsville. There they are in the background trying to get what is a borrowed machine started. They blew their own engine up in the opening heat tonight, and that's the last thing that Moon would have wanted. It took him about 42 hours to drive from Townsville to Bacchus Marsh in Victoria. Good field here, very even. Watch O'Brien in the centre of the pack. The tapes flew. He got a beautiful start on the yellow motorcycle, the Project Demolition entry. Glenn O'Brien and Jeff Giddis are going to show them a clean pair of heels as they run down the back straight the first time round. The battle for second, third and fourth is pretty tight at the moment. Gary Moon was there momentarily, but not for long, because skating high around the outside on them is Grant Bond and Thomas Cruz from Newcastle in New South Wales. They now consolidate second, one of the most improved sidecar combinations in the nation, and they're going to continue to get better. There's no doubt about that. Gary Moon and Chris Hughes are still clinging on to third, albeit by a very slender margin. There is your leader, though, Glenn O'Brien. He's even got time for a peek over the right shoulder. Look at the experience of Jeff Giddis, his passenger, who's 43 years of age, certainly an elder statesman of sidecar racing, moves his body weight accordingly, understands what slick tracks are all about, where the grip is, and he really is such an important part of O'Brien's plans to win this series. Here comes Glenn off turn number 4. He's going to get across the line comfortably. Once again, Giddis showing plenty of emotion. He wants to do so well in this tournament. You'll find that Grant Bond and his passenger, Tom Cruise, got across the line in second, and third was Gary Moon and Chris Hughes. The time, the quickest of the night, 61.73. Track starting to dry up. A predominantly clay race track, not ideal for Speedway motorcycle racing, but a wrap to the track promoter, Jeff Truan, has turned on as good a clay track as you could possibly produce. It's nice and smooth, and as I've just mentioned, the times are getting quicker. Now it's heat 8, another great field. Martin on the inside and Redworth watching here. Darren Treloar beside him out of gate number 2 wearing blue. And the Tasmanian sensation, Dion Lind, starting out of gate 4 in the yellow helmet colour. There's Martin on the inside, Treloar on the outside. Here's Dion Lind again, the Tasmanian. He's going to have a sneaky peek up the inside. Can he do it again? They drag race down towards turns 3 and 4. Martin, the Queenslander, is the race leader. Darren Treloar skates around the outside. That enables Dion Lind to get a better run up the inside. Can Dion Lind, the Tasmanian, repeat what he did in the earlier heat when he raced up on the inside to claim victory in dramatic fashion? I'm not sure, because Dick Martin looks looks to be a little too quick on this occasion. The Gold Coaster, he's out in front. You can see the gap graphically between first and second. I'd suspect about 12 metres. These bikes screaming up the main straight at Western Auto Raceway, approaching speeds of 160 kilometres an hour. And Vic Martin on the Gold Coast Motorcycle Wreckers entry is going to prove impossible to stop in this one. And I reckon the race time will be the quickest of the night so far. He's getting the horsepower to the ground. Thistleton working hard on the side of the machine. Across the line, another 5 points to Vic Martin. That's why he's one of the favourites in this tournament. Darren Treloar suffers his first defeat of the night, but still picks up 4 points for second. And third to the checkered flag, Ronnie Parker and Gavin Cunningham from South Australia. There's Vic Martin, big win, time 61.56. It is the quickest, or was the quickest, of the night thus far. If you may have just joined our coverage, you're watching the opening round of the Clean Team Sidecar Super Prix, the first of 6 rounds to be conducted across the country in the Western Auto Raceway at Bacchus Marsh in Victoria. This coming Saturday night, the second round to be held at the world-famous Brisbane Exhibition Ground. 7 o'clock start. That's this Saturday, October 23. Another look at the action on that particular heat and the first couple of corners. Martin in the red helmet colour, hugging the inside line. He would have been half expecting Dion Lind, the Tasmanian, in the yellow helmet colours, and his passenger Miles to nip up the inside. That's what he tried to do. That's his specialty. But this time Martin had superior speed and was able to slam the door firmly shut in his face. Darren Treloar, meantime, tried to make a race of it on the outside, but he got caught up in some slick dirt and lost all of his drive. And there's poor Justin Playstead and his passenger Sam Harrison succumbing to mechanical failure. And the best is yet to come from that pair. I can tell you they are fine, fine young talents. Now heat 9, final qualifying heat in this round of heats. The third round, that is. Get them underway. Chris Pym best to begin on the inside, wearing the red helmet colour. On the outside of him, Andrew Cleve and Dave Power, who've picked up a good win here earlier tonight. The dual former national champion, Cleve up on the inside. Third on the circuit at the moment is Jaden Mays and his passenger Jabin Underhill. Well, this is a terrific job from Sydney's Chris Pym out in front. On the side of his machine, Dean Edwards. They've had plenty of experience, been together a while now, and rapid improvers in the sport. This will rank as one of his biggest ever wins. Pym, a former New South Wales champion, runs through the top couple of corners for yet another occasion. I'm not sure what Andrew Cleve can do about this, and Dave Power on the side of his machine. They run second. It's the last lap. Cleve is climbing all over him now. In fact, starting to make up significant ground. Has he got the time, though? Inside the last racing lap, Pym is the leader. Here comes Cleve now, looking on the inside. Oh, they got close there, didn't they? Cleve had to get off the horsepower momentarily as they almost clashed. That gave Chris Pym the win, and an absolute beauty too. In the chair, Dean Edwards doing an excellent job as well. Cleve and Power home in second. Excellent race, that one. And Jaden Mays and Jabin Underhill getting across the line in third, ahead of Jason Truan and William Beanham. Time was 63.05. 63.05, a couple of seconds, or about 1.5 seconds slower than the previous event. We now prepare for the final round of qualifying heats. Heat number 10 of the Clean Team Sidecar Super Prix. Worth pointing out, if you're wondering, that all of the riders in this field utilising a control tyre on the rear. It's a Czech tyre from the Czech Republic, known as the Barum Mitas tyre, and it's an SW18 compound. And at this stage of proceedings, all the riders reporting that they're yet to change a tyre. Now that is a big rap for the tyre to last a full round of qualifying heats, or what will effectively be 4 races in a moment. And the maximum they can use is 2 rear tyres per event in this series, or 4 edges. All important. Now, in Heat 10, it's Playstead and Harrison in red from gate 1. Chris Pym returns for battle with Dean Edwards on the side. They ride in blue from 2. Gary Moon and Chris Hughes in white from 3. Ronnie Parker and Gavin Cunningham in yellow from 4. Cole Windsor and Gordon Young, who've had wretched luck tonight mechanically. Green helmet colour, gate 5, extreme outside. Did you see Ronnie Parker get some air under the front wheel? Out of position number 4 when the tapes flew. He was heading skywards, I can tell you. but fortuitously has it under control. Well, this is better now from young Justin Playstead. He's been plagued by mechanical drama so far tonight. This young South Australian who competed in a local meeting last week and had a massive crash. As a result, Jason Bloffwich, his regular passenger, was injured. He will be okay though. And subsequently, Playstead forced to shop around for a new passenger tonight. That man is Sam Harrison, and now they lead this event, which is great to see. And they'd lead, I reckon, by 7 or 8 metres. Now, Chris Pym, he's been super consistent tonight, hasn't he? Picked up a fine win in his last heat outing. That is him running second in the blue helmet colour, and he may have time to try and get on equal terms with that man currently on screen. I refer to Justin Playstead. There goes Chris Pym now in second. Third on the circuit, by the way, is Cole Windsor and Gordon Young. So they're going to get amongst the points for the first time tonight. Meantime, Pym is driving at the race leader, but the checkered flag will be too close. And look at the elation of Playstead and Harrison. Delighted with that. They deserve it. All the battle for third and fourth was tight too on the line. Windsor just got there. Recapping the placings, it was Playstead, Pym, Windsor. 63.40 was the race time. And there is young Justin Playstead. Nicely turned out team. And that'll do his confidence the world of good, and his passenger, Sam Harrison. Good effort from all riders concerned tonight, coming to grips quickly with this brand new circuit. Now heat number 11. Andrew Cleve and Dave Power in red from the gate. Darren Treloar and Alan Griffith in blue from gate 2. Grant Bond and Thomas Cruz in white from 3. Darren Caife and James Dean in yellow from 4. And Jason Truan and William Beenham wearing the green helmet colour on the extreme outside. Oh, problem there for Darren Caife. He's had some problems tonight with the battery in his sidecar, and it's definitely not doing him any favours. No, not so many problems though for Andrew Cleve, Mr. Consistent here this evening, who once again, I would rather say, races to the front. Now he's going to find himself under some pressure from Darren Treloar. Dynamite Darren races into second spot. He's drafting Andrew Cleve as they sweep through the top couple of corners at the end of the first racing lap. Can Darren Treloar get on equal terms with him? No, he can't. He makes a mistake there, Treloar, and washes off his speed dramatically. That hence enabled Grant Bond with Tom Cruise on the side of the machine to move up a fair bit closer. But just as I say that, Treloar finds some more horsepower and boots away again. Cleve back straight away for the final time. There he is, the former dual national title holder. Look at him working at the handlebars, keeping the horsepower on. He's nice and smooth out of turn 4, and Cleve with Dave Power on the side of the machine is going to get the 5 points there in his final qualifying ride. One of the most professional sidecar combinations in the country, and have been magnificent ambassadors for a long time. They take the win. Second, Treloar with Griffith on the side. Grant Bond and Thomas Cruz were third. Time 61.90. 61.90, which is considerably quicker than the previous event won by Justin Playstead. Dave Power slapping Andrew Cleve on the ribs. Jubilant with that. Here's the final qualifying heat now before we advance to the Clean Team Final Series. This is the last qualifying heat, and the race will have a major bearing on the makeup of the grand final tonight. It's Vic Martin and Thistleton in red from the gates, Mays and Underhill in blue from 2, O'Brien and Giddis in the white from 3, Lind and Males in yellow from 4, and Wason and Welsh in green from gate number 5, but they got an awful start. Martin and O'Brien are hard at it as they head down the back section the first time. Martin's your leader, tries to steady the ship as he races through turns 3 and 4. What can O'Brien do? The Perth rider, he is something very special, let me tell you. He sizes Martin up on the inside, and the two of them drag racing. They almost exchanged paint there momentarily, but as a reflection of their ability, they didn't quite touch. Glenn O'Brien with Jeff Giddis on the side of the machine has taken the race lead, and he's going to head up the main straight and see the yellow flag on display this time round. One lap of the 530-metre Western Auto Raceway to run. Look at Giddis doing a superb job on the back of the machine. He very seldom sits up. He did that time for a bit of a rest, but he likes to stay down, lower to the ground, more so than many of the other passengers. Thistleton doing likewise on Martin's bike back in second. But O'Brien, what a ride by him. He's got to be the man to beat tonight, O'Brien, and that victory will give him the top qualification and automatic transfer to the grand final tonight with 18 points for the meeting. O'Brien and Giddis, the winners. Second, Martin and Thistleton. Third, Lind and Males. Time 65.55. Almost 4 seconds slower than the previous event. That really does surprise me. Another look at the way Glenn O'Brien did it. Vic Martin, right-hand side of your picture, former national title holder. His passenger, Rob Thistleton, on the side. Look how close they get as O'Brien races up on the inside. Martin will regret that. He left the saloon passage open, and O'Brien racing up on the inside with his passenger Giddis on the side of the machine. Terrific job. We've got the final series next on the program. Welcome back to Western Auto Raceway at Bacchus Marsh in Victoria. This brand new multi-million-dollar facility, still with some work to be done, mind you, but it's going to have an immensely big future in the sport of national speedway. There's no doubt about that. This is our coverage of the C final for the riders that qualified in positions 14th, 13th, 12th, 11th and 10th. In this, the opening round of the Clean Team Sidecar Super Prix. A 4-lap journey, Plaisted the inside in red, Kaif in blue out of 2, Wason in white out of 3, Truan in yellow starts from position 4, and Gary Moon outside line, green helmet colour, Aussie number 5. Well, it's the youngster Justin Plaisted who got the best start over on the inside. He's taken the lead. Moving up quickly now is Darren Kaif. He's going to run second on the circuit at the moment anyway. Truan having a very difficult ride further back in third, wearing the yellow helmet colour. And he's just been overtaken, in fact, by what appears to be Gary Moon. Indeed, it is Gary Moon with Chris Hughes on the side of the machine. But there's no doubting our race leader at the moment, Justin Plaisted. He had an awful opening 3 rides tonight with mechanical problems, then came out and won his last qualifying heat, and looks to me as though he's going to end up winning the C final here tonight, at least finishing on a good note. Darren Kaif is starting to move somewhat closer now, the Novocastrian. Kaif doing a pretty good job. He too has had his share of machine problems tonight. I'm not sure that he's going to have the necessary horsepower. It would seem to me that Plaisted, the race leader, with Sam Harrison on the side of his machine, has a little more straight line speed on this whopping 530-metre circuit at Bacchus Marsh in Victoria. Last lap now for the leader, Justin Plaisted. Kaif certainly hasn't given up the chase, has he? He's giving it his absolute best shot, but the checkered flag is going to unfold in just a few seconds from now, and you'll see that Justin Plaisted and Sam Harrison is going to take the victory here in the C final. Second of the line was Darren Kaif, and a fairly good runner-up position for him too. James Dean, his passenger, and third across the line was Truan and William Beanham. That's Jason Truan. And there's a very happy man, young Justin Plaisted, with his Sam Harrison, his passenger, and they've got the 360 coming up. Oh, and it's gone wrong. It's gone wrong for them, but the crowd have enjoyed that for sure. The time was 1 minute 22.44 seconds, and now he's got an unexpected onboard barbecue. Plenty of smoke coming out of the engine. Another look at that little bit of entertainment. Just trying to entertain the crowd. Picked up a little bit of grip and tips the car over, which he won't mind one bit. Starters for the B final coming your way next on the program. Chris Pym will ride in red from position number 1. Jaden Mays will ride in the blue helmet colour from gate 2. Grant Bond in white from 3. Dion Lynn, the Tasmanian, in yellow from 4. Ronnie Parker from South Australia rides in green from gate number 5. Now the winner of this event takes the remaining transfer spot, I beg your pardon, in tonight's grand final. When they said go, Chris Pym on the inside, got away quickly. Also with him there momentarily was Jaden Mays. Here's the youngster Mays racing up on the inside. Look at this, they're almost 4 wide as they head down the back straight the first time. It is Grant Bond and Tom Cruise on the side of the machine in the white helmet colour. They've taken the lead. Look at them racing off turn number 4. It looks like the charge of the Light Brigade. The Novocastrian Grant Bond, Tom Cruise on the side of his bike. Out in front, second on the circuit, the Tasmanians, Dion Lynn and Scott Miles, who've had some very exciting races tonight. The Tasmanian, a very patient rider. He'll bide his time and wait for the opportunity. It might be coming his way now. It is Grant Bond makes a mistake and drifts up track. You can't give Dion Lynn any room at all. Otherwise, he'll pounce just as he's done in that case. And the Tasmanian has now surged to the race lead. That means, providing he can stay there, he'll take the fifth and final transfer spot in tonight's grand final. Already there, Glenn O'Brien, Andrew Cleve, Darren Treloar and Vic Martin. If Lynn can stay in front where he is right now, he will take the 5th and final spot in tonight's grand final, and he's got half a lap to negotiate the Tasmanian. He is very quick, isn't he? Has shown that all night long. He's going to win the B final in the opening round of the championship. Second across the line, you'll find in this case will be Grant Bond, and third Jaden Mays from Victoria, who can hold his head very high. He's been a revelation here tonight, the youngster. Time 1:21.23. There's Dion Lind and his passenger males. Great job, and they now move through to the main event tonight. I talked about the patience of this man during the call of that race. Bond on the inside, he drifts up track here. Note the varying styles of the passengers. Tom Cruise, right-hand side of picture, sitting right up, while Males on the other bike on the inside is laying down. And they got a lot of drive. You can see that Males got his weight right over the rear wheel, and that enabled Lynn to literally bounce out of turn 4 and get plenty of pace on the entry to that corner to take the race lead. Well, now it's the grand final of the opening round. Clean Team Radiator Coolant Sidecar Super Prix. Waterfield, Glenn O'Brien from Perth. Inside gate, red helmet colour. Andrew Cleve in blue, the Victorian, out of gate 2. Darren Treloar, the New South Welshman, in white out of posse number 3. Vic Martin, the Queenslander, in yellow out of 4. And Dion Lind has transferred to the main event by virtue of his brilliant win in the B final. He rides in green from the outside starting gate. The time will be a cracker. Set for a start. 20 series points up for grabs here. All the points they've scored up until now become irrelevant. Racing tapes fly in the grand final of the inaugural Clean Team Series, and the Perth flyer Glenn O'Brien got the best start. Look at that man skating around the outside. It's Dion Lind, the Tasmanian. He is very quick. The Perth rider, Glenn O'Brien, with Jeff Giddis on the side of the bike doing a terrific job out in front. Here come the challengers, though. The handlebar heroes out of turn number 4. Dion Lind up running second. Third is Andrew Cleve. The racetrack has slickened off somewhat now. That won't really suit Andrew Cleve. He needs a deep, groovy track to get drive, being one of the slightly heavier riders. O'Brien out in front. He's got a couple of laps remaining before he takes victory in the opening round of the Clean Team Sidecar Super Prix. And the Project Demolition entry out in front, doing it nicely. He runs about mid-track down the back straight. Got time for a look over the right shoulder. This is going to be a cracking pace for the four-lap journey. Second and best of the rest on the circuit is Dion Lind, the Tasmanian. And further back in third, Victoria's local hero, Andrew Cleve, with Dave Power on the side of the machine. Yellow flag on display now. 530 metres of Western Auto Raceway to negotiate. And it is Glenn O'Brien, the West Australian. He deserves to win this. He's been one of the finest riders this country has produced in recent years, without luck on occasions. He's going to get there out of turn 4 for the final time. O'Brien and Giddis take victory in the opening round of the Clean Team Sidecar Super Prix. Second across the line, Dion Lind and Scott Males, the Tasmanians. Terrific job by them tonight. And Andrew Cleve and Dave Power rounding out the top 3 from Victoria. Back and forth, by the way, was Vic Martin. And Darren Treloar at the back of the pack has sustained a flat tyre. Treloar did not finish the event, a flat tyre, and he's going to try and push his bike home. Time 1 minute 19:56. There are the victors tonight, and subsequently, at the completion of the opening round, will lead the series on 20 points. They take the checkered flag. They thoroughly deserve that. Here's Cleve and Power congratulating them. They've had some really hard races all night, both of them. As we now check the point score for you at the completion of the first round here at Bacchus Marsh. O'Brien and Giddis, the leaders in the tournament, on 20 points, the West Australians. Then Dion Lind and Males, the Tasmanians, on 18. Cleve and Power on 16, the Victorians. Martin and Thistleton, the Queenslanders, on 14. And Darren Treloar and Alan Griffith, the New South Welshman, on 12 points. Look at that, almost every state of this country represented. We've got a long way to go in the tournament just yet. Well, Glenn O'Brien, a perfect way for you to start your series campaign and collecting 20 series points in the process. Well done.
Yes, thanks, David. It's been a long time coming. We've had a little bit of bad luck in the last season and a half, and I've got a new passenger this year, as in Jeff Giddis, who's got a world of experience behind him. So we're a little bit testy tonight, but everything fell into place. We were communicating very well within the team after the races, and we made all the right moves. We didn't make any harsh moves. We thought about it. We went in the right direction, and we came out trump. So we're over the moon at the moment.
Did you have to make many changes throughout the night? Were you chasing the track?
At the start we were. When the water was on the track we were, because in practice we had a dusty track. In the first race we had a wet track, so we just stayed with the same tyre and played around with our gearing and our setup a little bit, and Jeff was moving his body weight around a little bit more. So we stayed with the same tyre all the way through our 4 heats and went out to the final with a new tyre, knowing exactly what we wanted, exactly where we're going, and we knew we were going to win it.
You've got some sponsors to thank, I'm sure.
Oh, we sure have. I'd like to thank Wayne Miller, who without him we wouldn't be here, Dave, and he's made it all possible for us to get good machinery with backups, get a mechanic over here who's staying full-time on the tour and flying us guys in, because as you can appreciate, from Western Australia it's a long way to come, and with our work commitments we can't afford to sit on the tour for 6 weeks in a row. So I'd just like to thank Wayne very much for everything he's put into our team, and also Mini Excavators, Terrace Smash Repairs, and all my contingency sponsors. Just thanks a lot for being here.
And a quick word with Glenn's passenger Jeff Giddis. I think I'm correct in saying you turn 44 tomorrow. That makes you feel a lot younger. What happens tonight?
It does, and it's certainly well worthwhile.
Can you explain to our viewers what it's like? I mean, obviously people watching the program would never have done this, the majority anyway, and I would hasten to add they never will.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to explain. I've tried to teach other passengers to try and explain where to put your weight and what you're looking at, understand drive and slick and all that sort of thing. It's not easy, but once you get it together, you just can't catch it.